Was last seen here on I-459 near John Hawkins Parkway in Hoover. On Thursday evening, police say Carlee called 911 saying a toddler was walking down the side of the interstate.
Hey guys, thank you for the ones that sent me DMs bringing to my attention about the Carlee case of the missing woman who had pulled over on the side of the road. As I speak now, this is some new video of when her car actually had pulled over on a breakdown lane. This is when she saw the child walking on the side of the road, which I'm believing now was a decoy. It either was a life-size doll, or it was a real child that was on the side of the road that was used as a decoy to capture somebody on that highway and kidnap them. I'm hoping that they find Carlee as soon as possible. We know time is of the essence because a lot of things can happen. She can come back unalive, sold on the black market, or another case where things are missing from the person when they do discover that person. I'm not trying to hope for the worst, but we have to take into all these factors of why people do these things in the first place, and especially at this time of night. It's very suspicious how there was not another car that pulled up behind Carlee's car when she got out the car to see about the child that was running or walking on the side of the road. Very suspicious to me. I again really feel like that was just a decoy to distract Carlee so that they could kidnap her, and for them to find her belongings but no Carlee, it's clearly a sign of kidnapping. And I know that there's an investigation being done right now. I hope that they really take this serious, this investigation, and know that this is very time consuming, but it's very important for them to find her in a timely fashion so that she gets back safely.
She stopped to get the child and called a family member. When police arrived, they found her car and belongings nearby, but no sign of her or the child. Family members now on the search for Carlee, her parents desperate for her return.
To keep applying the pressure to keep this thing going. We really want this to blow up. We want the word of the day to be Carlee. We just want to have her back home safe.
Now, law enforcement, local organizations, and Anaya Blanchard's mom, Angela Harris, also helping out with this search.
As soon as I woke up this morning and saw the Facebook post, I immediately reached out to the family and to friends. Like, how can I help? And knowing that the situation is very serious and knowing what this family is going through, I just came immediately.
Now, her parents tell WVTM that she was last seen wearing all black and white Nike shoes. They are also putting this flyer up in Hoover and surrounding area.
There's a similar video that I had saw too of people doing these things on side roads and highways, trying to rob people and probably do other harm to people. You have to be very, very cautious when you're driving alone or even with somebody else on these highways, especially at night. This is when people get victimized. And I'm going to show that video after this video, but I'm also going to let you listen to the updates of, again, when the car was pulled over that night. It didn't seem like it was a lot of action going on. It just appeared that she got out, went on the passenger side of the car. She made a phone call to her family parents, and let them know that she saw a child walking on the side of the road, and the phone never hung up. It was just went silent. So I'm figuring she did see someone, but the person probably advised her not to scream or say anything. They may have had a weapon, who knows? But she didn't say anything and vanished, which is very eerie to me. The whole situation's eerie to me. And only thing that I can conclude to is that I really believe that whoever put that decoy out there and then kidnapped Carlee, from what it's looking like, they took her into the woods because there was no car seen on that video footage of her pulling over. So it was definitely foul play. There was definitely somebody hiding out, waiting for a Vic to pull over, seeing that child on the side of the road. What is also troubling to me is how could anyone take and have a child be the decoy to kidnap or capture someone for whatever their devious demise are. Is that child a missing child as well? And has that child been used on numerous occasions to capture and kidnap people, take them off so they'll never be seen again? That's not really for me to decide, but it's really fishy how a child was used to me as a decoy to lower Carlee to get out of her car, put her safety at risk to try to save this child who's on the side of the road. I think I would have probably done it myself, but we have to be very cautious. There are a lot of things that are going on in life. And again, I have a video of something similar that happened where people at night were putting cones on the road, and then a man would appear from out of the dark and the car would stop, and then they would be robbing the passengers in the car, in the vehicles. And if I'm quite sure if they put up a fight, they could end up unalived as well. So that's a really dangerous situation. You have to be very cautious, especially when driving alone at night on these highways or side roads, what you're getting yourself into, because this world has changed quite a bit. You can't bring anything past anything that is done. All we can do is just be cautious. We shouldn't have to be cautious, but we have to be, because this world has changed quite a bit. And as we see, a good Samaritan, Carlee, pulled over as a woman on top of that, and was brave enough to save what she thought was a child, or was a child, on the side of the road. And now she can't save herself, because what it appears to be is that she got kidnapped. So hopefully she has a safe return, and it's a good ending. But I just hope that the local authorities, they act quickly so that there's a safe return and a safe ending. And if there was a child on the side of the road and not a life-size doll that she saw when she got out the car, hopefully that child is recovered as well, safe.
On July the 13th, at approximately 9:34 p.m., the Hoover 911 Center received a call from a 25-year-old female on I-459 southbound near mile marker 11. She reported that she saw a toddler walking on the side of the interstate. After calling 911, the caller stopped to check on the child and also called a family member to report the same details. The family member lost contact with the caller, but the line remained open. Police officers who were already en route to the location of the initial 911 call located the female's vehicle as well as some of her belongings at the scene. They were unable to find her or a child in the area, and Hoover police have not received any additional calls of someone missing a small child. Detectives are currently investigating these incidents and are requesting the public's assistance to help locate Carlee Nicole Russell. She's described as a 25-year-old black female who is 5'4", 150 to 160 pounds. She was last seen wearing a black shirt, black pants, and white Nike t-shoes.
Thank you also to everyone who has sent me updates on the Carlee Russell story. I want to make this clear that I try to give people the benefit of the doubt in my real life and also on social media. I did not know the circumstances around this case. I didn't know that people take lies or alleged lies this far. So I gave this person the benefit of the doubt to begin with, until the story unfolded. I think that everyone was caught with a surprise, even including her family, which I feel mostly sorry for, because they are getting the brunt of the blame as well, thinking that they're down with the storyline of what she was trying to either cover up or that was trying to do, and it all backfired on her. So I just wanted to give you an update because, to be honest with you, I don't know. People have been asking me, but I'm pretty sure, in my opinion, that if this is a made up story and it does not um, add up to investigators, she could be looking at jail time. So this is just my opinion, but I'm just saying I cannot see it being possible that you can just allow people to go around making up these fabricated lies, and it hits around the United States and people are donating money and worrying and thinking that their life is at risk because of things happening on the highway that don't exist. If they allowed that to happen, people would be running around doing this every single day. So yes, I do believe that she could be facing jail time if she is found to be guilty and made up this whole story. But I want to give you an update of what I have found. Somebody had said, which I also don't want to involve her name, but I do want to give her a shout out. She's been following this story for a while. Her name is APRN Beauty _81. I will put her handle on Instagram on this video because she has been doing her due diligence. I also want to give a shout out to Instagram because a lot of the information that I have found was from Instagram. I think that I was better off looking for updated information and doing my due diligence through Instagram because they're a little bit more organized and you get to the meat and potatoes. So it says she's sticking on to she was abducted. Says she was lured into the woods by some people who lived in the woods. Described a person with orange hair balding on top, which is this is crazy, and tied her up and drove her around and put her in an 18-wheel and fed her Cheez-Its for 2 days, and they painted her nails. They kept her on 150 somewhere, and somehow she manages to get away and runs through the woods to get. I'm sorry for laughing because it just sounds like I'm picturing this in my head. It just looks like some Hills Have Eyes story. Woods to her neighbors until she gets to her house and then goes to the hospital. Hoover got some Ring doorbell footage from her neighborhood, and it just shows her walking casually until she gets close to her house, and then she starts sprinting, and she got caught stealing from work that day, failed out of nursing school, and has been on drugs. She had her friend behind her, and that's who picked her up. She was with her friend all weekend. The police knew she was safe because she blocked her ex-boyfriend's weeks ago, and she added him back while she was abducted. He called the cops to tell them half a day before she went back home. She planned to disappear, realized that this wasn't going to work. Wild. So now here's some DMs. She stole money from her work, completely fabricated story. Hoover just hit her phone and reviewed the video of the red roof end of her checking into her room. And let me say something about that. I did hear reports from one news reporter saying that she was at the Red Roof Inn, and then she ended up at the house of her parents' house, and then they ended up picking her up from there and took her to the hospital. So I know that story has been checked out. Oh my Lord, I figured something shady was happening. I just want to know, did her family know or was in on it? I don't believe her family was in on it. I'm going to just say that my own opinion. No, they didn't. They tried to deny the Red Roof Inn story as it unfolded because they knew she was BSing, let's say BSing, and didn't want the embarrassment. Oh man, that's horrible for her family. They seem like well-off family, but she's gonna get ate alive once those details are public and spread it around. Of course, I'm not gonna say anything. I just meant in general. Yup, as she should. Yeah, so this lady here on this Instagram page has been doing her due diligence. Um, you know, a lot of stuff is being leaked. Allegedly, they're saying that people that were public servants of the Hoovers area, you know, I guess part of that state, that sector, they were fired, they're saying, allegedly, because a lot of stuff was leaked. People are getting really messy, I guess, because they're mad. This is a hoax, is what they're saying. Now, if it's not, God bless everyone who is spreading around these horrible rumors of something that could have been a fatality that happened to this girl's life. But I'm starting to give her the side eye myself. I'm going to definitely update you with other information that I know or was given on Carlee Russell, because she did some clapping back as well. And you could see that the clapping back was a private DM, but it was from her page. So, she's doesn't act like someone who's been kidnapped or abducted. So I'll definitely update you guys with the next piece of information that I have.
And a lot to unpack in this story. So let's welcome now former FBI Special Agent Stuart Kaplan. Stuart, thank you so much for being here. Let's dive right in. Police say this is an ongoing investigation. What are they doing right now to either validate or invalidate her story?
Well, I think certainly if you look at the physical evidence, and I would start obviously with the video evidence of the camera that picked up the car along the interstate. Certainly the camera or the video does not in any way show a toddler near or in any proximity to where she ultimately stopped. In fact, if you watch the video, she actually goes down the highway for a good distance before she finally comes to a stop.
Just a heads up, I will be doing a live stream today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on both my channel, my main channel and my second channel. So if you do not catch me over on the main channel, 9 times out of 10, you will see the live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time floating around on my second channel. So please make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on with the option all. So it turns out, from me doing my due diligence from today and early this morning, that Carlee Russell is really holding back some things. And one thing I hate to say out of my mouth, but I think that everything that she said happened to her was a lie.
The first thing, as an investigator, I think anybody could appreciate that if you saw a toddler in the middle of the night out there on an interstate, you would stop your car instantly and get out frantically and try to protect that child. The behavior of seeing the car continue down the highway, number one, is inconsistent with the belief that, in fact, there was a child along the road. Also, I think you would understand and appreciate and anticipate that other motorists would have made the same observations and would have called 911 or would have stopped their vehicles, obviously, to render aid to this child in obviously grave danger. So those are the obvious direct evidence that I would have a problem with. I see this case, unfortunately, more as she may have been involved with someone else, and maybe in order to have an alibi for where she was. I think we may see this case unravel in the days to come.
And right now I feel bad for her mother and her father, family members and friends, because they were very supportive to Carlee Russell's, and then to find out that there was more that was to the story, that she was living obviously a double life or something. There was something that obviously she was covering up for her to let it get out of control like it did. However, what really broke the camel's back for me, not just what I was hearing from social media or even the news, because sometimes they don't even get it right. Things can happen around your neighborhood and you could be right there when the incident happened, and then it gets reported on the news, and it's not accurate at all. But I was listening to a former FBI agent that was on News Nation, and basically when I heard him say, in my opinion, from what he was saying, it's not believable, the story that she's telling of what happened the day that she was allegedly kidnapped. And he went into details, which I will further let you listen to what he had to say, but none of what Carlee Russell is saying is adding up. And I did say in another video that you probably already saw, when people do this, there's possibilities to being incarcerated. I don't know what sort of penalty or punishment they would put on Carlee Russell if they find her to be guilty of.
So, Stuart, how do investigators go about tracking her account, putting some of these pieces together?
Well, the first thing is the cell phone was left on the side of the road. And so, of course, it is my understanding that the phone will not offer any information with respect to after she allegedly was abducted. However, the phone will be of importance to backtrack and see who she was talking to, who she was texting, and most importantly, in fact, we saw the advancement of this technology, the location services that are indicative now in all cell phones, where it can pinpoint with direct accuracy as to where she was at any particular time. They'll be able to go back and see where or whether or not, in fact, there's some validity to where she was coming from. I think they're going to look at that cell phone information, and then, of course, they're going to attempt to interview her and see whether or not the story that was alleged, does it in fact pair up.
Of making up this whole storyline, because there were a lot of donors that put money up to find her. There was a lot of time spent in an area where they could have been looking for really kidnapped people that need their help and is time sensitive, and she could have took away a few people's lives because they were searching for one person who wasn't needed to be found. She was somewhere allegedly up into the Red Roof hotel or motel, Holiday Inn. No, I'm being funny. For 2 days allegedly, and she knew exactly what was going on, and she knows that nobody kidnapped her, no harms was done to her, and she just went along with what the media was saying, and she played on it.
With the physical evidence. But again, that's to be seen. And again, the other obvious thing when we talk about direct evidence is that if someone was abducted, as soon as you would break free from your captive, you would not walk home. You would immediately go to the first person or the first house or the first someone and obviously get someone to call 911 and render assistance to you. This idea that you walked home is inconceivable. It's not believable, and it's not consistent with logic. And so that in and of itself is going to be a problem for her.
A lot of gaps in the story, a lot law enforcement didn't say. We'll await those details. Stuart Kaplan, thank you for the breakdown.
Media, social media, and the news assumed from how everything was left on the scene that she was kidnapped. Somebody had grabbed her because she was inquiring about a toddler that was on the side of the road, which we now know did not exist, and we felt as though it was considered a kidnapping. And I think that she didn't stop that she was kidnapped, but she ran with the narrative and she made it appear that she was kidnapped. She didn't come back 24 hours later. She came back 48 hours later. Story doesn't add up. They have camera footage of her just leisurely walking back to the home after the so-called kidnapping 48 hours later. Once she got up to her family's door, her whole body language changed, like a dramatic damsel in distress that just ran away from her kidnappers. her attackers, or whoever you want to call these people at the time that she just conjured up in her head, or went with the social media crowd who was saying that she was kidnapped. And she played on this, and she could be actually in some serious trouble. And it's really sad because there's so many people of color who are missing, and we already complain enough saying, why aren't these people, why aren't these races considered or thought about as much as other races? And why don't they invest that much time and investigation in finding these people as much as these other people? And now she's made the black community, and this is not a race commentary video or race war that's going to start because of what she did, but it's going to make it really hard or believable. Even though one bad apple does spoil it for the bunch, that does not mean that everyone of color is going to come up missing and it's going to be a hoax or a lie or something for attention, or media attention, or for a bag. However, she's going to make it really hard for those people that are missing, and for people to really want to find these people. They're not going to take, the situation is serious because of people abusing the system. She abused the system. I know that if they do, in fact, investigators find out that she perhaps did send them on a frenzy, and the frenzy wasn't a good frenzy, it was all a made up story, and people donated money and all sorts of things, and it was a lie, I honestly think that they're going to prosecute her. I don't know if she'll get some sort of probation or some time, but I think that they're going to make an example out of her to let people know going further, because you'll get people that are going to try to do it better than what she did. That if you attempt to do this, and this is a serious matter, when someone gets kidnapped, 9 times out of 10 is that it's an alert that this person could perhaps be not only in danger, but could be found unalive. And the lady who came to their aid, who didn't get to see her daughter ever again, her daughter didn't come back to her, came to help find Carlee Russell's. And I know it's like she was basically playing in this lady's face and was messing with her emotions, because her daughter wasn't as lucky as Carlee Russell's was. And the sad part about it was Carlee Russell's is still lucky, because no one's believing the story at this point that she got kidnapped, and that people were feeding her Cheez-Its for 48 hours and painting her nails, as she allegedly is telling the story to different people, and things are getting leaked. Nothing was wrong with her at all. It was something that was going on in her personal life, and she just was being dramatic with it and took it too far, and this is where we're at today. But hopefully soon it'll all come out in a nutshell of the current events from the time she went missing to the present time, and what was the real motive. So a lot of people are questioning this case with Carlee Russell's. One being that for them to even entertain publicly that they were going to refund the donors their money back, the $63,000 that was raised, and then change their mind. Obviously, it's been questionable to everyone, and I guess nobody wants to allow someone that's lying or could potentially be lying to have this kind of money, $63,000, or it be given to anyone else that may have saw her, identified that it was her, and gave the location for the police to find her. Whatever how it went, wherever the money's supposed to go to, I guess they don't want people's hard-earned money to go to waste, and this is all a hoax, or whatever the situation might be. So it says Crime Stoppers now says 63 raised in Carlee Russell's search not being refunded. So I don't know what made them change their mind, but that's just a clear sign that a lot of people are giving her the side eye. You see how they got this picture up here making her look like Aunt Jemima now, because they're mad that she took them on a wild goose chase, and potentially this might not even be the case, that she was kidnapped or even violated in any shape or form. So it's really not looking good for her. It says Crime Stoppers of Metro Alabama on Monday reversed course hours after announcing that more than 60,000 raised in reward money for information that led to the safe return of Carlee Russell would be returned to donors. Now, this is what they're saying, but they ended up changing their mind. On Monday morning, the organization said they would refund $63,378 donated in the 48 plus hours the 25 years old nursing student was missing. However, on Monday afternoon, they announced that was no longer the case. And I think that's because if in fact there is a small chance that she's not making up a lie, that would not be in good faith. So they're probably going to wait until the investigation is done. The police are not saying too much. There hasn't been a press conference that I know of. So there's nothing for them to really stand on by what, by what they're saying about refunding the money by any means until they hear from the local authorities who are investigating the case what is going on. So I really feel like they feel like, we have nothing to stand on with this. We have no right to take the money yet until we get the green light that this was all a hoax. She lied. She did this to cover up something else that had nothing to do with kidnapping. But until they release a press conference and they have all the evidence gathered together, I think everyone's going to tread lightly, because allegedly I'm hearing her parents even got an attorney. Now, why would she need an attorney if she's a victim? She's been kidnapped. But I think there's so many allegations swarming around this case, and I think her family is really afraid that she might end up in jail if they come back that she made this all up. So it says this investigation is still ongoing, and according, there is no basic to refund any contributions at this time. Furthermore, the Hoover Police Department has not requested for any donor contributed to the release or refunded. The afternoon announced stated Russell vanished Thursday after her red Mercedes was seen stopping on Interstate 459 in Hoover as she claimed she saw a male toddler in a diaper on the road. Now, we're not going to even go any further with that because that's getting to the regurgitation part. And we're not going to do all that on this channel here. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed when I heard that they was not going to refund these donors their money back, because I know everyone's trying to cross their T's and dot their I's, and they don't want to drop the ball and refund money back, make her look like she victimized and she might be the victim still, and then they have to bite their words or whatever the actions were. Then now Carlee Russell would have a lawsuit. So I think that they're really being really careful what they say. They're treading really lightly with the situation, and they're just doing the investigation. I mean, we already had an ex-FBI agent say the likelihood of the story being true from his experience being an FBI agent from the past. There's a trial attorney, which I'm going to talk about him after this video, who doesn't believe the story either. So a lot of like people from, powerful positions, whether they're actively working as FBI agents or ex-FBI agents or attorneys, they're not believing this story as well. But until a full investigation is done, they have to just leave it where it's at, and they can't accuse her of being guilty until they get all the evidence together. So she's basically innocent until proven guilty. So we don't know what the verdict's going to be for Carlee Russell, but she has been messy on Instagram. I have saw a post of her going in on social media influencer, and I call it the clapback, and I'm also going to share that with you as well. But you know, everyone's going through turmoil behind this selfish act that Carlee Russell did. You know, I don't wish anything bad on her, but it's not looking good as far as her getting off this easy. I think I don't wish for her to do jail time, but she's gonna suffer if she is lying. I don't know if they'll give her probation or whatever the situation might be, but they're going to make an example out of her, because we can't go around with these false allegations, because there are people of color are definitely missing, and we cannot use these tactics to get back at exes or family members or just to get a bag. Now, what I'm trying to get clear, and always remember, on this channel was in my opinion or allegedly, unless we heard it from the horse's mouth. I want to give a shout out to, her name is APRN. Let me make sure that's actually what it is. Yep, I said it right. It's APRN Beauty underscore 81. I'm going to make sure that I put her information in. Now it seems to me in the background, Carlee, somebody is supposed to be the person that got kidnapped, and she's mentally and physically damaged, you know, and she needs to get her well-being together, is in the background DMing people and cussing people out, clapping back. Now, what I'm trying to figure out, is it the APRN Beauty underscore 81 who has been doing her due diligence the last few days of this mystery of Carlee Russell's? Did she send this to her, or did somebody send a DM that Carlee sent of someone that she's offended that doesn't believe her story? And you can see some of what was posted. Be pleased. He told me everything you said about me, and you thought I told him to say that. I wasn't even with him. You're delusional as F. If you think y'all little conversations was anything more than convenience, and the fact that he used you to get back at me out of anger, you want to talk about what's that? You want to talk about I don't compare to you on your worst day, girl. Bye. You're miserable, or at least should be. What did she say? She said, or at least should be being a stripper to provide for a child. You need to proofread, sis. I've heard you it looks like say ho from multiple people or whatever. So like I said, it goes back and forth. I'm quite sure some of y'all probably read it while I was japping off at the mouth. But yeah, this is a DM. You don't need to read the whole thing anyways. You get the gist of it. You know, she's clapping back at people, and for somebody who is been victimized and, you know, happy that everyone band together and supported her, I don't understand how she can attack people the way that she did. And I think she's mad because she lied and she's being exposed. Like this young lady here who's been doing her due diligence, she's showing the DMs of, even if it wasn't her that she was referring to, somebody she had cussed out, and stuff that's leaking from some people who are pissed off. And she's just mad. She's mad at the world, but the only one she really needs to be mad at is Carlee Russell, because there's no reason for you to have done what you did. I had already said, even though I know it was grainy and dark out the day in question and on that highway, only person I saw, whether I could tell what they had on, were if they were a male or woman, was whoever got out that car, which I did not know at the time was a Mercedes. They went around the back of the car, and it appeared that they were on the side of the trunk. And the only movement I seen was one person. I did not see anyone scuffle across, and I didn't see like a tug of war or no scuffle. I didn't see no little kid in a white diaper. Only object I seen moving was Carlee Russell. And I don't understand how she's upset that people are questioning her story. And I really feel even bad for her parents, because it seems like they're the ones going public, sitting up there defending her honor, and all along there's a possibility she might be lying about this whole situation. And basically, not only is she dragging her own name, she's dragging her parents' name in it. I don't know what's going on. People are asking me about what's up with the boyfriend. Are they together? Is he maybe the reason for why what happened? I have not a clue, but I will say that whatever comes out the wash, Carlee Russell better cross her T and dot her I's, because if she is found that she had made this all up, possibilities could be, and I said this and I'm going to keep saying it, is that she can be put in jail or put on some sort of strict probation, which is time on layaway, same thing, and it's just not worth it. Now if this is a mental issue why she did what she did, she needs to go get help for it, because honey, this is not where it's at. As fathers making up these hoax and having people that are not even remotely related or affiliated with you in any shape or form, taking time out to be concerned about you, having police officers that could be solving other crimes, trying to solve a mystery because they want to make sure you get home safe, and to find out that this is probably not even what it is a disappointment to the community as a whole. Not even the Black community, but the community as a whole, because there's so many kids every second of the day all around the world that go missing. And here you're making a mockery of this situation. And now you want to get mad and be in your DMs clapping back at people who are mad at you for what you did to the community. You pull wool over our eyes. You had us thinking that you was in harm's way, and now we have evidence. I mean, there's footage you go into your home and you were walking back to your house like it was no thing, and as soon as you got close to your parents' house, you put on a scene. So, it's a lot of questionable things. It's either that there's a mental issue going on with this girl, or she was trying to cover up something and it just went way too far and it's just out of control. So stay tuned. I will be live again at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live. So if you have any questions for me, you'll be able to ask me them. And I'm also going to show you some of what I have to prove anyways for the meantime, in between time, until we hear otherwise, that she could be guilty in this whole situation.
Now by Eric Guster, a trial attorney and legal analyst in Birmingham, Alabama. So you say you have some doubts about this story. Some things don't add up. What stands out to you and why?
Well, there are a lot of issues that are occurring in this story. Number one, being from Central Alabama, there has been no BOLO, no be on the lookout for suspects. And the Hoover Police Department has been very, very, very quiet about this. If there is someone who was abducting women on the side of the road, we would have descriptions. We would know who they were. We would know what kind of cars to look for, because all of us who live in the area were really on pins and needles for the whole weekend.
Hey guys, back with another one. I just wanted to bring to your attention how a lot of people, very high-powered people, are not believing the Carlee Russell story. And I was mentioning it briefly about how there's a trial attorney. His name is Eric Guster, who does not buy the Carlee Russell story, and he breaks it down why he doesn't buy it. and how it's pretty much not looking good for Carlee. Let me just say this to you. I did get a comment in the comment section. I will be addressing it while covering the Carlee Russell story, things that I need to. And one, I will admit that I did get a comment, and they were right. She has every right for her own privacy. She does not have to share with anybody what she did. But you know what? When you make people believe that you saw a toddler on the side of the road in a diaper, which would lead to alarms going off because it's a toddler in a diaper at that time of the night, and there's no missing report of a toddler, but it could perhaps still be true, and you're literally calling your family and the local authorities with the same story and involving all of these people from all walks of life, even donors who gave their hard-earned money to help find you. You do owe somebody an explanation.
So, how do investigators go about tracking her, do you believe, validating or invalidating the story that she told law enforcement?
Well, one of the things that they have is video. Hoover Police Department released video in reference to where her car stopped, because what do people do when they are not very truthful about events? They forget that there's video camera everywhere. When what they're going to do is they're going to track her cell phone, see where she went. They're going to look at, from what I understand, she was at a local motel, and they're going to pull camera footage from there. They will also ask to speak to people who may be persons of interest, people who may have helped her, people who may have seen her, and her friends and family and close people to her, to see exactly what they say occurred if they saw her that weekend.
Because you are the one, Carlee Russell, who made this whole thing public. So it's nothing that you can say. There's nothing anyone can put in my comment section about her privacy, because her privacy was taken away when she went along with the story of this toddler on the side of the road, which scared the community and made it seem like she was snatched and was allegedly fed Cheez-Its for 2 days. And the person who fed her these Cheez-Its was a person with orange hair receding in the middle. The story sounds like something out of the movies. Like I said, like the Hills Have Eyes movie. Okay, like some real dysfunctional hillbillies then took you in, and all they fed you was Cheez-Its. The story doesn't add up. There was no missing report at that time of no toddler that you described missing at that time, and people are upset. Now, if people want to defend her honor, that's your opinion. That's your right to do that. You have the right to your opinion, and you have the right to defend her. But you have to look at the bigger picture. You have people who did not know her from a can of paint, devoting their time to search for someone that was not missing. Allegedly, they're saying before she even went to her parents' house and played the victim, she was at the Red Roof Inn with a friend. Carlee Red was not, I don't believe, in any sort of danger.
Can you tell us a little bit about the mood in Birmingham when this story first broke? Were there a lot of people on edge? What was the sense in the community?
Everyone was on edge. I'm married, and I told my wife, don't stop for anyone who's on the side of the road. Just call 911 or call the emergency helpline. I called my family members and other friends. Make sure you don't stop, because everyone was afraid that there were some kidnappers on the loose. But now that she returned home on her own on Saturday night, and there's been nothing from the police department except a statement where they say they stated she called and said that there was a child on the side of the road. However, this I-459, the interstate, is a very, very heavily traveled interstate, and no one else saw
what she claimed to see. So it's a lot of mystery behind this, a lot of tension, and people are actually relieved that she's fine, but really want to know what the whole story is.
And the reason why you see her parents in the midst of what's going on and answering all the questions is because Carlee Russell is beyond, she's going through mental and physical traumas. She doesn't know what to say to the public because from what I'm seeing from the facts, the evidence, it was all made up. And it's her conscience eating at her. And also, she's got to be scared because if they find her to be guilty and if this is a made up story, you can go to jail for stuff like this. We can't have these kind of false alarms of people just making up these reckless stories of things that don't exist, especially anything having to do with kidnapping. And that's what Carlee Russell, I believe, in my opinion, did that day. And she had people on edge, including her family, for 48 hours believing this lie. So we can defend her honor all he or she wants, but the fact still remains she put these people in her business. And that's how social media got in her business. And that's why commentators are trying to get down to the bottom of what happened. And they demand to know for their community that they share commentary with, what is the truth? What happened the day Carlee Russell went missing? And why did she do what she did? What was the motive? There had to be a motive. If there was no motive, there has to be some mental health issues going on that need to be sorted out because this is not where it's at. And the boyfriend, he's another one, very questionable. I could care less about either one of their relationships, but when whatever happened with you guys behind closed doors happened and he triggered it to happen, whatever triggered her to pull a stunt like this, all I'm going to say is good luck, because the ending result is not going to look good for Carlee Russell if she is found lying. If this story is a hoax, she made